Hey cruisers, you know how cruising is usually all about sunshine, good food, and easy days at sea? Well, sometimes a few tricky situations can pop up and they can catch you off guard. Some of these might make you stop and think. They've even had me thinking about what I would do. But before we get into it, I share cruise tips and tricks as often as I can, so if you love learning ways to make the most of your time at sea, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. All right, let's dive into it. So what's the deal with the deck chair dilemma? You've heard of it. You head to the pool, ready to relax, but every lounger is taken. And I'm putting that into quotes because sometimes just a towel and a pair of flip-flops are on them for hours. What's going on? Some guests reserve chairs early in the morning and disappear for hours, even though most of the cruise lines officially have banned this. So what are cruise lines really doing about it? Many of the cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian have staff who will remove items after 30 to 40 minutes, but they can't be everywhere at once, so it's still a common frustration. Losing a chair is annoying, but losing your spot on a ship, that's a whole different story. Which brings me to the next one, late for the ship. People run late to the ship, and it can happen super easily, but basically you're in port, you're loving your life, you're sipping a drink, and maybe you're shopping when you check your watch and you realize, oh no, but by the time you get back, the gangway is already up. The reason why this can happen is because time zones are different, transportation that you were on could be slow, or you just simply lost track of time. But either way, if you book an excursion through a cruise line, they'll usually wait or get you to the next port. But here's the catch. If you booked an independent trip on your own, then you are really on your own. And that's why you'll always hear the crew stressing all aboard times. So make sure you know the all aboard times. Speaking of things that can ruin your evening, let's talk about loud cabin neighbors. A loud neighbor is exactly what it sounds like. It's late, you're in bed, and the cabin next to you is having a full-on party. The music, it's loud and you can hear every single word. But what's going on? Thin cabin walls, late night events, and well, some people forget others are trying to sleep is why this sort of stuff happens. So what are cruise lines doing about it? What can you do? You can call guest services and they'll visit the cabin if needed. Some newer ships even have improved sound insulation, but it's still hit or miss depending on the ship's age. But noise isn't always the thing that can throw you off. Sometimes it's missing something you've been waiting for months for. Which brings me to number 4, missing your excursion. You've been looking forward to this excursion for months. Just imagine. By the time you get to the meeting point, the bus is gone. This happened to me, but it was with a cooking class, and I just completely missed it. Ship time versus local time can cause confusion, long lines in elevators, or simply just misreading your ticket. But here's the thing, if you booked it through the cruise line, you might be able to be moved to another departure or refunded. However, independent bookings, they're a totally different thing, and they're usually non-refundable, but some companies will reschedule if they have space. And even if you plan everything perfectly, Mother Nature could still have the final say. Which brings me to number 5, bad weather at sea. The captain announces that the storm is on the way and that the itinerary is changing. Sad face. But what happens is that weather can shift quickly and cruise lines prioritize passenger safety and a planned route. So what will the cruise lines do if this happens? And it really depends. They'll reroute you to calmer seas, swapping ports, or adding sea days. Some offer partial refunds or onboard credit if ports are skipped, but their policies vary, so you should check. Some of these might make you stop and think. They really got me thinking too. Cruising isn't always perfect, but I love it. The adventure is always what matters the most, and how you handle it in the moment. And knowing a little about why these things happen makes them easier to roll with. Thanks for watching. And if this helped you, give the video a like and subscribe. We post cruise tips as often as we can to help you cruise smarter, not harder. Smooth seas and happy sailings, my friends. Bye.